Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Thursday morning. So big AFC West game tonight, Thursday Night Football. Let's just, for a second, give a hand to the guys at the NFL Network and Thursday Night Football planning for honestly having one of the best lineups ever since the beginning or the rehashing of the Thursday.
They lucked out.
I know they did, but come on, you got to give them props when they get. If you can't dog them all the time and not give them props when it works out.
What do you say when the Jaguars play the Jets on a Thursday night?
Hey, well, we'll get to that in just a second. Before that, though, let's talk about the one happening tonight. Chiefs, Chargers in L.A. It's going to be a hell of a game. The Chiefs lead the AFC West by just one game, and right behind them is the L.A. Chargers.
And the Chargers own the tiebreaker.
And that is the key, my man. So the Chiefs need to win.
They do. It's a very big game for both teams, and it is. The Thursday night folks have lucked out. They're tied into their schedule. They can't make any flexing at all. Here's the deal. The Chiefs will not have Willie Gay in the lineup. He has been ruled out, and L'Jarius Sneed has been ruled out. Sneed's not because of the protocol. Gay is, and because Gay is out, I have to think that he's probably symptomatic. I'm guessing this. Chris Jones, no decision yet because they're awaiting the second test that he has to take under this utterly absurd protocol, which, Mike, may change this weekend and into next week, and it's more than overtime. We've talked about this before. Anyway, I think Jones is probably going to play. He is asymptomatic. 2/3 of the players during the protocol of the NFL, 2/3 of them who've been ruled out had no symptoms. They felt fine. They could go out and play. This is utter hypocrisy. Why are they keeping them out? Overreaction. Absolutely overreaction. The NFL is probably going to change this weekend and issue a new protocol that says if a player is vaccinated and he shows no symptoms but does test positive, get out there and play. You can do that. Way it should have been.
Why can't they do that today before the game starts? Because I really want Chris Jones out there, man. Why can't they do that today?
It's because the rule hasn't been. They haven't gone through the Players Association yet and gone through all the legalities. But I do think they will this weekend or maybe early next week. And it's way, way overdue. We talked about it earlier this season. It doesn't make any sense at all. Viri have been a part of our creation since the dawn of creation. They're viri trillions of uncountable numbers. The body wards them off for the most part with antibodies. The vaccinated player will ward them off. Yes, he may test positive. We could test positive to polio. Now, this is not literally the case. It's an analogy that I shouldn't be making, but hey, the polio vaccine works. The body wards it off. The same thing with the COVID. If the virus is effective, and apparently it is, the body wards it off. So why do you penalize a player? You don't, and I think the NFL is going to change it.
Well, when you look at what's happening with the Rams, God, half of their team went down
16.
right after that Thursday night game.
16.
I know,
and
man.
most of them, if not all, didn't have any kind of symptoms.
And also, the thing that was scaring me was like when you're watching what's happening in L.A. with those dudes, and and then all of a sudden some of your guys start getting called. You're like, oh God, oh God, oh
now,
God, oh
if
God.
a player is symptomatic and ill, heavens, yes, you can certainly understand that, and the player probably doesn't want to play anyway. But when a guy's feeling fine, if Mike Holmes is feeling fine and wants to get out but test positive, fine.
You know, I mean, the whole mentality, and this is just an intern observation, if you will, about, back in the day, if you had a sniffle, you had a cough or something, but you felt fine, you come to work.
Anyway.
It was no big deal because I'm not running a fever. I mean, I'm just coughing. It's not a big deal. I can still do. Hell, I talked for a living and I'd still come in here sounding like garbage because I felt fine. It just sounded awful, which, that's kind of par for the course. But now, in this post-COVID world, God, if you sneeze, you might as well be locking yourself up in the house for the next couple days.
Of an overreaction brought about by the media, and I've talked about it before. I'm not going to again, but it has been an overhype.
How many times have you coughed in the last 2 years where you've just like kind of looked over your shoulder to see if someone's staring at you or not? God. All right, let's move on to something else. I've not been the biggest fan of this guy. I don't think ever I really liked him. I didn't like him in Ohio State. I didn't like what he did down south. I really think he's a garbage human being, but that's just my personal opinion about Urban Meyer. Couldn't have happened to a better guy getting fired, though. Are you surprised this happened?
Not in the least. Not in the least. He is his own worst victim here with his behavior in the nightclub dating back a long time ago, earlier this season. The fact that the Jaguars haven't played well, really don't think that enters into the decision so much. Now, if they were 11-2 on the year, then it might. But 2-11 on the campaign. He's coached 13 games. The players aren't happy. The organization isn't happy. He hasn't done himself any good at all. The media doesn't like the guy to begin with. And when the media is anti-you, and they were at Ohio State as well, he had some very severe critics there, certainly at Florida. At Utah, he got a bit of a honeymoon out there with some very good football teams. But it's come to an end in Jacksonville, as Shaq Khan, who owns the team, has apparently said, hey, enough is enough. We're getting awfully bad publicity about this whole thing, so you're out of there. Now, what they're going to have to pay him, since he's only coached 13 games, it's going to be an enormous amount. But
yeah, that was why it took so long for them to get rid of him. I mean, it's a stupid amount of money. Stupid for, like you said, 13 games. I don't know, but what do you think they're going to do next?
They will probably take one of the coaches and finish out the season. They're not going anywhere. So, indeed, I think probably maybe the offensive coordinator or whomever's appointed will take over, finish out, and then they'll go hunting for a new person.
Man, it's going to be interesting. I mean, they really do. Not that I'm a big Jags fan or anything, but they got some talent on that team, man. They really do, and it just doesn't seem like it's being utilized.
I don't think he has had the cognitive ability to be able to bring them together. Mm-hmm. He's coached with the old college style, and that doesn't work necessarily in the NFL, where all the players are, outstanding pros.
Yeah, professionals, they're grown men, and you don't go around kicking your players. Let's move to something else. Obviously, I know you're excited. My birthday's on Monday. What kind of bowl games am I getting for my birthday weekend?
You will have 8 of them this weekend.
Nice.
2 tomorrow night and 6 on Saturday, and it's combined Saturday day and night games. There are also 2 pro football games on Saturday. There will be no lacking in watching any football this weekend. But the fact is, these are pretty much the minor bowl games. There is one that I am interested in, though, that does have a lot of appeal, and that's Brigham Young's game in Shreveport, Louisiana. They're playing Alabama-Birmingham. Now, this is, by D1 circles, kind of Alabama-Birmingham, the Blazers are kind of a mid-major team. Brigham Young's not. They're upper level. Now, they are an independent in football, independent in all sports for that matter, but they're about to join the Big 12, probably in 2023. That's an interesting game because you're matching up a power football program against really a mid-major that's had a good year. I'd like to see how that one works out. There's also one with Utah State playing Oregon State out in Los Angeles that also has some appeal to it. Now, the others are, Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina, people like this. They're all D1 teams, but they are kind of a lower level. That doesn't denigrate at all their abilities to play, but it does in their minds of the public.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because those games are going to be, some of them, not all of them are going to be good, but definitely some of them. Well, that's some good news for my birthday weekend, Ned. I know you were out late last night for a little bit of a game at JQH. How'd the Bears do?
The Bears won in one of the most physical basketball games I have seen in quite some time. Bears defense won it for them. Missouri State, and we've talked about this before, is a very good offensive basketball team. They can score. They win the game 75-63 over a very good South Dakota State team. But South Dakota State, interestingly enough, even though they played Alabama and Washington State and some big-time schools, may not have seen the defense that the Bears threw at them last night. It was constant pressure from the opening tip-off to the end of the game, the final buzzer. I mean, pressure chest to chest. And the referees, 2 of whom were national caliber, John Higgins and Jerry Pollard. These are guys who've been deep into the NCAA tournament. In fact, I think Higgins has had the championship game. They let him play. They let these guys get out there, and it was physical. Chest to chest, bumping and pushing guys. Hey, if that's the way the game is played and that's the way it's going to be called, then you make adjustments. South Dakota State certainly can't complain about opportunities at the foul line. They went to the foul line 22 times last night, made 13 of them.
Oh, that's not good enough.
The Bears only went 12 times, and they're the home team. Made 9 of them. Difference here. And Missouri State was able to get their shots underneath with Gage Prim scoring 13. The key to the game was early on when Jalen Minette, who is in his first year with the Bears, he's a transfer, came into the ball game, and he got hot. He hit 4 straight threes. 4 straight. Crowd's going wild. The crowd, such as it was going wild. Only 3,000 there for the game. But that really set the stage for the Bears, and they went on and turned that little scoring spree and taking that early lead, turned it into a really defensive struggle. It was close. With about 4 minutes left in the game, it was only a 2-point difference, but the Bears were able to capitalize, put it away, and come away with a very big win. South Dakota State's a good team.
They are a good team, and those are the games that you really want to win, the hard-fought games. So I'm glad the Bears got the dub. I appreciate that. Now, we've got the early signings about to start. Any schools reporting on who they're getting?
This is a 48-hour period. Started on Wednesday and concludes tomorrow. And this is the early signing period. I really feel that the NCAA has to change the date of this thing. It's December 15th through the 17th. They've got to push it back and maybe go right back to where it is now for the permanent one. Not that this isn't permanent, but February, the second Wednesday in February, that's National Letter of Intent Day. This one needs to be pushed back toward then. But the early signing date was brought about by the Coaches Association to give the players an opportunity to declare themselves and to prevent tampering, so to speak, with other coaches coming in. Well, as a result, you see guys like the coaches who have left early, and they're leaving. That's why they're leaving early. It's to be with their new schools so they can help with that early signing date. Well, if that's moved back, then you might not see this bailing out. Over and above that, Alabama, Texas, and Georgia are thought to be the top 3 teams. LSU was given very good grades as well. Florida State came away at the bottom. They didn't recruit well. This is according to all the pundits who follow the high school stars around the country and so forth and so on. The Bears had an early signing with 8 players coming in, 2 of whom are local. One is Connor Lair from West Plains. He has decommitted from Southern Illinois and is coming here to play. And Liam O'Reilly from Springfield Catholic, who signed. And then Bobby Petrino did a pretty good job. He doesn't have to do a whole lot because a lot of this team returns for next year. But he's certainly satisfied. There may be more, and there may be more in the second Wednesday in February when the big signing day is. But we'll see what happens. I think everybody's pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I think going good. I mean, you just think about the scope of just college football and how many teams, and then just think about all the guys that have to start looking at the players in high school level. Oh, my God, it just makes my head want to explode. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you keep all that information in there, Ned. Well, have a great day, and don't forget we got Ned Talk tonight starting at 5 o'clock, Chiefs and Chargers.
It'll be a lot of fun, and I'm glad you mentioned that, too. Ned Talk does begin at 5 and then runs an hour, 5 to 6, and then the Chiefs pregame show, which, so is ours, for that matter. It's a local pregame show. But then the national, or in terms of the Chiefs, their network pregame show. Then the game itself, which will start probably about 7:15, 7:20 at SoFi Stadium out in Los Angeles. Should be a very good football game. I think the Chiefs win.
I hope you are right. I hope we got Chris Jones on the field. Mike Hughes shows up again and just makes a night of it. We really need that win in L.A. tonight. Chiefs, if you're listening, my birthday's on Monday. Let's get it, Ned. Go Chiefs. I'll see you later, man.